Hi everybody, I'm Scott. We're here at Second Harvest Food Bank. I'm a nutrition student at University of Tennessee, and today we're going to make chicken potato soup. We've got potatoes, onions, carrots, canned peas, shredded chicken, butter, whole milk, salt, and pepper. All right, so to start out, we're gonna take our potatoes here, and we're gonna put them into the pot. We're gonna cover them up with water, so just enough that all of the potatoes are underwater there. And we are going to cook the potatoes until they are just about fork tender, so until you can push down on them with a fork and break them apart. All right, so we've got our potatoes boiling over here. They're gonna cook for about 20 minutes, so it's gonna give you some time to work on the carrots. Now, if you're using fresh carrots, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put those in a separate bowl over here with some water, and we're just gonna put it on about medium heat and let those carrots cook until they're a little more tender. If you are using canned carrots, you're gonna put those in later on, but if you're using fresh carrots, you'll wanna get them softened a little bit. All right, so we've got our carrots and our potatoes going here, and after the carrots have started to soften just a little bit, we're gonna add our chopped onion to that mixture as well with the carrots, just to make sure they get a little bit softer too before we add them in with the soup at the very end. Another thing to talk about while we wait for this to cook here, this recipe is very flexible, so if you have different vegetable preferences that you'd like or different vegetables available to you, feel free to give them a try. We've got peas, onions, and carrots in this one, and we've got chicken as our animal protein. But this recipe will go really well with other types of vegetables or other types of animal proteins based on your preference. Feel free to get creative and try things out. Same goes for the spices. We're just gonna use salt and pepper today. But if you've got some different spices that you feel would go well with this recipe, you can absolutely give those a try at some point too. All right, so at this point we have strained our potatoes and they're ready to go. We've also strained our carrot and onion mixture, and what we're gonna do right now is just add our peas in with that. And we're also gonna add our shredded chicken in as well. Just one more thing to mention, if you did want to use some shredded chicken breast, you're welcome to do that as well instead of the canned chicken. Either one will work perfectly fine with this recipe. And if you are using canned carrots, this is where you would add them in to the onions. All right, so at this point we've got our peas, our onions, our carrots, and our chicken here, and we're just gonna add that in with the potatoes. Put it all into one big mixture. And we're also going to add in our milk. So right here, we've got the exact amount of milk that we need. We've got 4 cups. You can use 2% or you can use whole milk with this recipe. Either one will work perfectly fine, whichever you prefer or whichever one is more available to you. And right after our milk there, we're going to throw in our 4 tablespoons of butter. And we're just gonna stir that around a little bit, make sure it dissolves evenly. Put that over medium heat and let that go for about 5 to 10 minutes. And what you're gonna look for is some bubbles around the outer edge of the milk there, and that will indicate that it's starting to get to the point where it's done. So about 5 to 10 minutes there over medium heat. All right, so right here we've got our mixture. We just pulled it off of the heat. We saw some bubbles around the outside there indicating that it is done. So we're just gonna let that cool off a little bit. And at this point you can add your salt and pepper, and you're just going to season it to taste. So you can start with a little bit, give it a try. If it feels like it needs a little more seasoning, go ahead and add a little bit. That is completely based on your preference. All right, so at this point, we are ready to try it out. I'm just gonna ladle it into our bowls here. This is a great recipe to try out, as especially the weather starts to cool off a little bit finally, and we get more into our fall weather. It's a nice, warm, heartier soup recipe that will go really well at the end of the day once it starts to cool off. So great recipe to give a shot during the fall. Good. I like it a lot.